Hi, and welcome to the Drama Club, where the topics are so hot we gotta jump right in. We've got Jessica Simpson, we've got J-Lo in the Super Bowl, we've got the Joker movie, and we've got Chris Pratt. And then Steph's got one of the wildest, messiest stories we've ever done when she tells the tale of John Edwards. You don't want to miss it, so stay tuned.
What up, fam? It's good, y'all. Feels good, right? Yeah, I know it, dude. And without further ado, we broadcasting live from CA to NY.
Dude, Jessica Simpson lost 100 pounds. Good for her.
Dude, I didn't know Jessica Simpson had 100 pounds to lose.
It's because when Jessica gets reggaeton, she gets, big.
Yeah, good for her. Kim Kardashian, too. Remember when she got reggaeton?
Yeah.
She got real big for a second.
Kim was big. I mean, that's what your body's supposed to do. Gain that weight, girl.
Yeah. It's the one time.
All right.
You can't really say much. It's like, I'm not fat, I'm pregnant. Okay, bitch, but you also fat. That's so fucked up.
I love people when women do their little weight loss journeys after getting pregnant or after having their babies. I love that they're okay, time to get healthy, and I love all that shit. What I don't like is look at this bitch, she looks great 2 weeks after giving birth, or 1 month. I don't like that.
That's not realistic.
Yeah, it makes me really uncomfortable.
That's why I like Megan and Kate after they had the baby. When they do the announcement, they still have the bump, because every woman has that still.
I haven't. I never had a baby.
I'm a chubby girl, but I actually don't have a tummy, so I'm glad for that. I keep getting calls from Social Security.
That's a fucking scam.
It is, right?
Yeah.
I've had 4 calls today on my work phone.
Yeah, that shit is fucking stupid.
And they're leaving messages. I know, it's so annoying.
I hate that one where it's
I'm 30. I ain't on Social Security disability or anything.
It's you're alert. We're going to cancel your Social Security. Bitch, you can't cancel my Social Security.
What are you gonna kill me? What the fuck?
You're gonna cancel your Social Security number. What the fuck? That's not a thing.
Yeah.
That's cancel culture right there. That's the real cancel culture.
The real silent killer. Remember that fucking movie that was the phone would kill you if you picked it up or something?
What? Oh, the Ring or something? It's
No,
that
not
you
the
get
ring.
the phone
The
call.
Ring was the video.
The video would kill you.
Yeah, that girl would come out of the video.
Yeah, but then you get a phone call and then 7 days later you die.
Oh, what? Really?
Yeah, I think
I
there
don't
was
remember.
something. Shout out to
I remember-
Naomi Watts.
That movie was scary as fuck when it came out.
It had its moments, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not scared of nothing.
You've never been scared of a scary movie?
Only once, or no, twice. When I was little, I was real scared of The Exorcist.
Okay, that's the one that is actually
Yeah.
frightening.
And not so much the things that are meant to be frightening, more the little flashes of stuff.
yeah,
You know?
that is scary when there's little demon flashes.
Yeah, that would scare
Yeah.
me when I was a kid.
Especially because were you going to Catholic school?
Yeah. And when I was an adult, the first time I saw The Orphanage, I was real scared.
El Orfanato?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
shit
that
shit
movie's
was
scary.
scary.
Yeah. That's a good ass movie.
I love that movie.
What's the Spanish thriller or horror film that did you tell me to watch it with my mom?
What's it about?
It is called, let me see, I'm going to have Veronica. Yes, Veronica. It's about girls who use a Ouija board and one of her becomes possessed.
Yeah, I
It's by
watched
Paco
it.
Plaza.
Yeah, I watched that, but I don't know if I would have recommended it to you though.
Okay, well, I watched that one with my mom, and that one is actually very frightening, and it's semi-based on a true story.
Right?
And so then you can see the crime pictures.
Yeah.
After you watch the movie, if you're anybody,
Right.
jump on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that one actually did scare me.
Huh.
But I watched, that's the only genre of film my mom ever wants to watch.
She's like me. It's the only time I feel something.
Yeah. So I watch a lot of horror films. Most of them are cheesy.
That's the problem with horror. I feel like when it's done right, it's the best thing in the world, but so small percentage of them are done right.
Yeah.
You got to wade through a lot of garbage to
Right.
get that.
And for whatever reason, horror becomes this genre where a lot of like up and coming actors get to work. So it's never like the best acting, you know, like they're still like really early in their career or they're not going to make it.
Oh, did you see that interview that BuzzFeed unearthed from J-Lo?
No, but I known about that interview, May.
Really?
I've talked to you about that interview on this podcast.
Really?
Yeah, because Mezcla talks about that interview all the fucking time. BuzzFeed.
And she talks shit on Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, on everybody.
Damn.
That's like a very amazing... I wanted to do an AD on that. I always forget, though.
Oh, yeah. That would be a great AD.
Fuck you, BuzzFeed. Mezcla's been knowing about that fucking interview. They bring it up all the time.
Hey, that's a hot topic, too, though. J-Lo got the fucking...
Super Bowl?
The Super Bowl.
My mom was all excited. I was like, really? She was like, how come Shakira doesn't work? And I was like, she don't need to.
No, she does. Like, she does work because
she'll drop albums.
But every once in a while, I'll be like, play songs by Shakira to my to Siri, and then I'll be like, oh shit, like this song is a bop. This song is a bop. Like songs that I haven't really paid attention to, but that she's been dropping. You know.
The last album that I really liked is the one with like Loca.
Yeah.
That's the song with Pitbull. Rabiosa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the last album I really remember.
I mean, she drops songs, but she's.
Did you hear?
Yeah.
No, there's one called Loca. What are you talking about? She-Wolf? No, not that one. That song sucks. To continue with our spooky theme.
Yo, She-Wolf though, that song, the first few times I heard it, I was like, this is the worst song in the world. But you hear that shit in the club when you're like fucking getting down.
I know, I have heard it in the club.
That's the best song in the world.
There's a she-wolf in the closet.
You think she's gonna play that at the Super Bowl?
Yeah. Of course.
I'm here for Hips Don't Lie. I hope she plays that. I hope she does.
What's the one for the Super Bowl? She'll do that one.
Oh, no, the one for the World Cup?
Yeah, the World Cup, my bad. Sport, go sport.
The OG Taki Taki Waka Waka.
Yeah, Waka Waka.
No, I don't fuck with that one though.
I don't like that song either, but I bet she'll play it.
I want her to sing fucking Si Te Vas.
See, but she doesn't do that. Like I remember after Whenever, Wherever, like she doesn't really sing any of her Spanish stuff anymore. I remember my family one time like going into like a deep ass argument about like they were all drunk and they started fighting like Shakira doesn't want to be Latina anymore.
Ever since she went blonde.
Ever since she like brought out Whenever, Wherever and learned English and shit, they were like she doesn't fuck with any of her good ass songs anymore. But yeah, Si Te Vas is like my favorite. Donde Están los Ladrones, that whole album.
Yeah.
What's Si Te Vas on? Ciego Sordo Muda? Oh, I love that song too.
She's not going to play that song. If she brings out the mariachis for that one.
I wish. And J-Lo does J-Lo have any mariachi songs? Nope. What album is that? Is that
That's Donde Están los Ladrones. All of the bops
Ciego Sordo Muda?
Yeah.
It is?
Or Pies Descalzos, but
Pies Descalzo. I love that song too.
But I don't think she's not gonna play any of those, and also it's not appropriate for a sport.
But I know. Yeah, we're just gonna have her play all the shit that makes us cry.
Yeah, I'm saying. J-Lo's gonna play Let's Get Loud.
Yeah,
Let's
that
get
one. There you
loud.
go. That's the one I'm thinking of, but that's not mariachis. That's like salsa.
But also, the ultimate J-Lo bop, I feel like, is If You Had My Love, but I don't think she's gonna play that.
Yeah, it kind of doesn't go with Shakira, huh?
Yeah.
They're gonna do like Celia Cruz or some shit like that.
No, they're not. They're not cool enough. Shakira's not anymore. They gotta bring out Pitbull though. Mr. 305.
Have you ever seen J-Lo's performance of all the Celia Cruz songs at the AMAs?
Yeah, I did see that.
That shit's good. She did everything really good. Her dancing is the thing is she dances so good.
Yeah.
She put on a good show.
Yeah, I get, and that's what the Super Bowl is about. It's a spectacle.
For sure.
So you bring J-Lo, who's all about the spectacle. You bring Shakira, who's like an international superstar. I mean, you drop in Mr. 305, and I think you've got yourself a picture.
Although for the Super Bowl, I don't think people care about Shakira as much.
Well, they cared about her for the World Cup, though.
Well, yeah, but that's football. That's Latin America's all about that shit. We're talking about American football now.
Yeah.
You think those people give a fuck about
But
that?
isn't the Super Bowl like the most watched like global event or something?
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
had no idea.
It's like the Super Bowl and then the Oscars or some shit.
That's crazy. But hey, like, I mean, isn't this what allegedly Rockefeller was gonna do? Rock Nation was gonna do for the NFL, was like curate their concerts or whatever.
I mean, Jay-Z, girl, I guess, but you could have gotten some people from Miami. It should have been Pitbull. Pitbull should have headlined it.
Is it in Miami this year?
Yes.
Oh, that's tight.
Yeah, so I feel like what's up with these non-Miami artists where they're perfectly good Miami artists? Just sitting right there.
That's where Pitbull just constantly sits in Miami. Man, I saw Pitbull in concert. That was a fun ass show. He is so positive. Like, he's so great because he has great dancers also. But just like when he talks to everybody, because it's so funny, right?
Was he wearing glasses indoors?
Fuck yeah, he was wearing glasses. It was all dark in there. What else? I'm sorry. I can't believe Jessica Simpson lost 100 pounds. That's crazy.
Yeah, because remember I showed you that picture. I think I posted it on her Insta when she looked like Honey Boo Boo.
Yeah, she did.
At her baby shower.
Yeah. She just posted a picture of herself following the announcement of the 100-pound weight loss, and I thought she looked kind of interesting. Like, her body looks interesting.
Oh, yeah. She's disproportionate.
Yeah, which was she before?
I mean, she always had big old titties.
She did?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Oh, yeah, she always did have big titties, huh?
Mm-hmm. That was like one of the things.
That was like a whole thing, yeah.
Back when we used to, back in 2001 when we used to objectify women. Holistic
I like Jessica
method.
Simpson. She seems perfectly fine.
She a businesswoman.
Yeah. I have a pair of Jessica Simpson shoes. They are very comfortable.
I have some Jessica Simpson underwear. Very comfortable.
Perfect.
Yeah, she looks weird, actually.
Mm-hmm. Right? Doesn't it something seem off? Like,
well, I bet you
her stomach, maybe.
I bet you she's wearing this faja that doesn't take care of the top.
Oh, okay.
You know, so it's all spilling out on the top.
Jessica Simpson, get yourself a Latina homegirl who could introduce you to the world of fajas. There's a world of possibilities. Does Jessica Simpson
know any Latinas? Oh, she's from Texas. She might.
She might know Selena.
If she knew that bitch, you know she'd be in TJ right now getting some low-key lipo.
Fuck yeah. Remember Selena used to always go get lipo?
I feel you, girl. That's what's up.
That's why she was eating fucking medium pizzas all by herself. She could go get the lipo on Monday.
I felt
pizza
that.
on Friday, lipo on Monday.
Isn't that the theme song for Pizza in the Morning, Pizza in the...
When pizza's on a bagel,
you can get lipo anytime.
Welcome to America.
You have to be more American than the Americans.
And you gotta be more Mexican than the Mexicans.
Who are the people who are most likely to succeed?
Also, this week, so the Joker movie's coming out, and there's a lot of drama associated with it.
Right. Which, I mean, I didn't really think about it. Was there another Batman movie after the shooting?
Yeah, there's the Ben Affleck one.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
But I think that's Justice League, though.
It's not the same.
It's not like a standalone Batman.
Right.
Was the Aurora shooting the one post
Aurora,
Heath?
that was it.
Was it post Heath Ledger, or was it the Heath Ledger one? I think it was post. I think it was like the last Dark Knight Rises or some shit. It must have been, because for sure Heath Ledger was dead. I'm
looking it up. It was The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
2012. Tom Hardy's Bane. I always forget about that.
Ugh, I did not like that movie. It was hard to follow.
That's
because
the one with Anne Hathaway, huh?
Yeah. It was so hard to follow because I could not understand Tom Hardy. I feel like he needed subtitles or some shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Because Bane wears that thing and talks like this, and like it was bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, the new Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix is coming out, and there's a lot of controversy because they say that it sort of placates incel culture and like would attract the type of person like the man who committed the Aurora shooting.
Right. So I guess the backstory is like Joker is like an incel, right?
Right. And it's very sympathetic to his cause, I guess.
Should we say, do people not know what incel is?
Well, okay. Incels are involuntary celibates.
Yeah. Right. So these are like mostly men. I don't know if women also.
I don't think there are any female women incels.
Yeah, I only know about it from the subreddit, and the subreddit is mostly men who say that they are involuntarily celibate because women consistently reject them.
Right. And it's like,
so they're bitter.
That subreddit's like the darkest place on earth.
It's really, really scary, yeah.
Because some of these guys harbor, I guess, revenge fantasies against women.
Women, right. And specifically women that have rejected them. Mm-hmm. And so Joker, I guess, is kind of like that. And then obviously he becomes very, very violent. So it's a problem. Like, are we romanticizing that? Is this going to trigger something in somebody, or like inspire them? Because there's a lot of copycat crimes in our society. So, like especially the school shootings,
especially by young men, which
who are very vulnerable and
and which are the target of the problem that we may or may not have here.
And also the target audience of this movie, probably.
Yeah. What makes me uncomfortable about this conversation is that no one has seen this movie, Right. So it's all very speculative.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if that's like how it really goes down for Joker, but that's what it looks like it goes down for him that way.
Right. And if it does, and if it is, what everyone seems like, it's irresponsible. That's what I wanted to say. Like, and not only is it irresponsible, but are these the types of movies that are interesting? Why, like,
no, for sure.
Aside from the irresponsibility, like, why are we telling these stories? Are these the stories that need to be told, that are that we haven't heard before? Right.
It's like Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he was like an incel kind of.
Yeah, sure. And
that movie's like fucking applauded for like one of the greatest films of all time.
Right. And we don't need another Taxi Driver, though. We got it.
It's sitting right there. Right there.
Is Jodie Foster in The Joker? Doubtful.
Yeah. No, she sure ain't. Is Robert De Niro in The Joker? Maybe. I don't know.
We don't know because no one has seen this movie.
I guess we have enough to piece together to know how it ends up, right? Like, we know Joker becomes this psychopathic, murdering, fucking criminal asshole.
Yeah.
And it sounds like he's like getting rejected and stuff like that. So people are just kind of piecing it together in that way. I don't know. It's irresponsible. I also kind of always feel like this with, and I hate to say it, I don't know this man.
Sorry to this man.
Sorry to this man that I love, Mr. Keanu Reeves. I feel that way about the John Wick movies. I'm like, do we need to be just glorifying all this gun violence?
Yeah, sure.
There's a lot of people that when John Wick 3 came out, I remember on Instagram, like, how it's like, you love this shit, so here's some more of this shit. Yeah. So it's like, bitch, you're obsessed with Keanu Reeves. Here's all this Keanu Reeves shit. Well, I remember a lot of people like watching it and like pulling out their guns to like show like, I have the same guns as John Wick and all this shit, and like, I don't know if we need to be doing that.
Right.
Yeah. Like, why? Why, Sway? Why?
I would like to see a gunless John Wick movie. Like, remember that?
Where they just do like the fighting scenes. Yeah.
Remember that?
It's great choreography.
That movie, The Raid, where the guy goes into the building and then he has to get like to the top level of the building and he's just like fucking fighting people. It's
I've never seen it.
Oh god, it's so fucking good. You have to see it like right now. Is that Indonesian fight style that's like real
Oh
fucking
yeah,
quick?
that's badass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that shit is fucking sick. There's two of them.
The Raid?
Yeah, there's the Raid and there's the Raid 2. The Raid 2 is okay, but like the first Raid, I went to see it in the theater. I was like,
2011.
holy shit. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I want to watch that. I want to go to there.
Yeah. So I wouldn't mind a Keanu Reeves like action movie
Fight
doing
style
that
like
shit.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe, dude. He's looking pretty old.
Hey, if they have
Liam Neeson?
Liam Neeson, old ass Liam Neeson doing action flicks.
That's true though. Remember Taken was like every dad's horny boner movie? Like every dad was like, that's how I would be. And I'm like, bro, you can't even fucking get off the couch.
My dad's version of Taken is whenever I call him when I have a flat tire, he's like, I'll be right there.
I know, my dad too. Every time I have a car thing, like my windshield wipers aren't working and he's like, he's so hyped.
But okay, I need some antifreeze. I need the thing in my car has been saying like check coolant levels. I've been asking my dad to check that shit for like months now. I'm like,
it's gonna overheat.
You want to take in my fucking antifreeze, please, if you don't mind. That's what I need. I'm not getting kidnapped anytime soon. I'll tell you that much.
Oh my god.
What have these kids got that I haven't got anyway?
Oh, I wanted to tell you about Chris Pratt.
Right. I feel weird about Chris Pratt.
You should.
Because I think he's a nice person, right? Like he seems like a nice person.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe whatever you're going to tell me right now will change my mind, but he always just seems like when he was on Parks and Rec and everybody just, he seems like a nice guy. Like,
can we go back to those days when we didn't know anything about him?
Yeah. So I don't like to talk bad about people's religious beliefs either, because I think it helps a lot of people.
Yeah, same.
And that's great. And I also don't like people that are like very like fanatically atheist, because I think you're like the same. You're the same as them. Like,
yeah, for sure.
But anyways, so I imagine this has something to do with that.
It's not about his religion, no.
Okay.
It's about his politics.
Oh. How about we forgot completely about the impeachment?
Oh, same. Okay, we could tie that into this. This is perfect.
All right, perfect. What's up?
Okay, so shout out to Apple for releasing iOS 13, which now allows you to take a screenshot that's not just a screen, but like beyond the screen.
Yeah, that is cool.
Because that's what they needed to do this. This screenshot. Okay, so he was like, drop in a hot new poem I found, and it's the photo on Instagram says indivisible, and it has an American flag, which he like hand wrote. Do you see that? Okay, and it says, this is a poem. Yeah, I'm about to spit some hot fire, so prepare yourself.
Okay.
Ding dongs, ding to the left, dong to the right.
Did he write this or he just found this?
He says he found it, but I don't see any evidence of this being anywhere but here.
Nobody else is claiming title to this fucking piece of poetry right here.
Ding dong, they clang the outrage bell. Ding dongs on the far right fringes, squeaking mad like rusty hinges. Ding dongs from the far left squad, fixed on answers outside God. The media plays them like a fiddle, drowning out the healthy middle. Pick your tribe, state your name, disregard, we're all the same. Who's a racist? Who's a fake? 24 hours of news to break. Echo chamber ringing rips the fabric of society, followed by an ad for a pill you pop to stop anxiety.
Oh, damn.
Get your blood a-pumping with some whisper-fueled assumption about someone who wrote something or some singled-out opinion. There is a rhythm to this madness. If you take a sec to look, one option is unplug, put down your phone, pick up a book. But the other option probably is more helpful and realistic. Find the humor, check the facts, and try to remain optimistic.
Oh.
We are his. H is capitalized in his.
Right.
We are his children, despite race, creed, preference, or age. Under God, we're indivisible. To stay united is our duty. That's it. Snaps.
Wow, that's just damn. You fucking figured it out, Chris Pratt. Look at you. Look at
With your
you.
Pepsi.
Nobody ever thought about this before in the history of the world. Nobody has ever thought of this idea.
Chris Pratt is a sorry to this man.
I don't know this man.
I don't know this man.
Oh my god. Just shut the fuck. You ain't got the answers.
Exactly. And it's like I like when artists really put their views out there.
Me too.
But this was like vapid. There was no substance to this. It was just like, look how deep I'm about to be right now.
But you're not being deep at all.
Yeah.
It's just shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to this man.
I'm sorry. And this, as you say, in the midst of the fact that we're impeaching the motherfucking president.
Right. It's they just want to whitewash it. They love to be like, race doesn't matter, gender doesn't matter, we're all God's children or whatever the fuck. No, you could say that shit because it doesn't matter to you.
Yeah.
Like, it matters to me because the shit affects me.
I love that gift that's like, to you.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one?
Like,
the thing is, they like to, we're taught that things need to be fair and balanced.
Right.
And so they love to be able to say, but look at this on this side, and but look at this on this side, but they're not, but the sides are not equal.
Right.
And this desire to make them seem equal, I think, is hurting us more than helping us.
Yeah, and it's exactly, it's like idealistic, right? Like, like, oh, like, look, if we just take a second step back and recognize that for every par there's a subpar, whatever the fuck.
And it's like, no, I think that things stopped being equal a long time ago, but especially when there's a side that says that it's okay to keep children in cages.
I was about to say that. Like, you don't care about race because your kids aren't in cages. Like, you don't give a fuck about that shit because your kids are children of God. Your kids are protected. Your kids are everything that's holy and legal and whatever, man.
Yeah. So Chris Pratt, I mean, he posted that and he rightfully, I think, got roasted for it.
Good. The fuck? So dumb. Like, whatever. As if shit was that easy, you know? Like, like, are you that dumb that you think shit is that easy?
No, but you're that privileged.
Exactly. You know? And you can't even recognize that.
Yeah.
You know who
I would respect it more if it came with some sort of action.
Right.
Like, post that and then post like, these are the charities that I'm going to work with to try to help make things or
things
something,
fair,
you know,
equal, or whatever the fuck. Yeah, for sure.
But he posted that, he was like, yep.
Yeah, and then he went to church. You know who's a white boy who I do think is like really woke? Chris Evans.
Super woke.
Yeah.
But he fucks with black girls, that's why.
Oh, A.
I was going to say Mark Ruffalo.
He is also super woke.
But his focus is the environment, which I like. Focus on what you know, on what you really have passion for.
Sounds good.
That's good. Shout out to my girl, Greta Thunberg.
Yeah, that was so awesome.
A queen.
A straight up fucking queen. Did you see that fucking tweet going viral of that sick motherfucker who was like,
oh, compared her to like the Nazi propaganda?
No. He said something like, okay, don't take me wrong, but if we're okay to take climate control advice from this 14
from a
years
16-year-old,
then Jeffrey Epstein would have been okay to sleep with them or something.
Right.
And then it went viral that some black dude was like, hey, check this man's hard drive. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, true.
Why the fuck would you say that? What's wrong with you?
Some people should just like
shut up.
Just keep things to yourself.
Yeah, keep
man.
that shit to yourself. The hell?
Sorry to that man.
We love you, Kiki Palmer. Ever since you described her to me as somebody who acts much older than she is, I can't get that out of my head.
Yeah, because if you put that audio over like an old black woman, it would fit.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, it's so funny. Like her accent seems even like
Yeah.
of another era or something.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Like fucking, she could be like Patti LaBelle.
Right,
or some shit.
right.
I wouldn't know a thing.
Hello everyone. My name is Stephanie.
And my name is May, and this is the Drama Club.
Welcome to our podcast all about celebrity scandals, gossip, politics, reality TV, parks and recreation. What else did we talk about? Jessica Simpson and her shoe and clothing line. Empire. There you go. Empire. That's the word.
Yep. Weight loss, weight gains, titties, fajas, Super Bowls.
Pregnancies, J-Lo, Shakira, ¿Dónde están los ladrones?
And we got it all. Welcome to our new listeners. Shout out to, we got a lot of new subscribers, especially, which if you're not subscribing, if you just like drop by and listen to us, that's cool too, but
that's
you gotta
cool,
subscribe.
But yeah, that's kind of rude.
Yeah, if you just listen and don't subscribe, we're gonna check your hard drive.
We sure are. All right, fuck you then, man. It's my turn this week. Everybody shut up. And it's everybody, I mean May, shut up.
Yeah, that's and the pups. Is Joel there too?
He is right here, actually.
Shut up,
Joel,
Joel.
shut up. Okay, I'm going to do the story of a man named John Edwards. This is
Okay.
political.
I'm pumped. Yeah. Oh, this is the most political podcast in the world.
Hey, don't threaten me with a good time. So I'm going to tell the story of a man named John Edwards. He's a former politician. He was born in South Carolina in 1953. His papa was a textile mill worker, and his family ended up settling down in North Carolina when he was a little baby.
He's older than I thought.
Yeah, now, yeah. And actually, I was seeing current pictures of him because I think you think of him in like 2002.
And that's, yeah.
His mom worked as a letter carrier after his dad lost his job, and the family went through a little bit of a tough time. Okay. But John was a football star in high school and the first member of his family to attend college. And he went to a small university in North Carolina before transferring and graduating from North Carolina State University, where he earned his bachelor's degree in textile technology.
Oh,
isn't that interesting?
Wow.
I know. I don't think you could get that now.
Probably not. If maybe at like a fashion, like at FITM,
right.
Fashion Institute.
Yeah.
I'm actually really fascinated by textile.
Oh yeah, that's
production.
So beautiful.
I just don't understand it. I don't understand how they do that.
Well, John Edwards could tell you all about it.
Yeah.
While John was at NCU, he met and fell in love with fellow student Elizabeth Anania.
Okay.
He then went to the University of South Carolina School of Law and got his Juris Doctorate degree. And following completion of law school, he married Elizabeth. Mm-hmm. He and Elizabeth had 2 pups early in their marriage, Wade in 1979 and Kate in 1982. Elizabeth was a military girl who lived part of her adolescence in Japan while her dad was a U.S. Navy pilot.
That's so cool.
That's pretty dope, huh?
Yeah.
She also attended UNC's School of Law, and she became an attorney at the exact same time as John.
Oh, cool.
He started his legal career clerking for federal Judge Dupree in North Carolina before going full litigator at a private firm that defended banks and corporations.
Oh.
He moved shout out to defense attorneys. He moved around and switched sides for a bit before settling back down in Raleigh. How do you say Raleigh? Riley.
But the people from down there say Raleigh. I might be fucking it up, but they say it like with a real drawl.
Oh. I'm so bad at accents, dude. Like Raleigh. I'm sorry to this man. Okay, he settled down in what is it? Riley, North Carolina. Raleigh? Fuck you guys. We don't know, okay? Whoever knows, 505-539-0556.
Just flood our fucking hotline with just people saying Raleigh different ways.
In different accents too. How did you say it?
Raleigh.
Molasses. jelly fish. Oh my god. Remember the live SNL with the skit with John Hamm and Tracy Morgan? And John
What's
Hamm says like banjo.
Banjo, yes.
Oh my god.
No, was that live? It was live 30 Rock.
There
right?
you go. Sorry,
No?
live,
Yeah.
live SNL. Every fucking SNL is live. Live 30 Rock. My bad. Okay, so he settled down in Riley at a medical malpractice firm. Similarly, his wife had clerked for a federal judge, and she worked for the Office of the Attorney General before going to a private firm at the same time as John.
Cool.
In 1984, he won his first huge medical malpractice lawsuit on behalf of a client who suffered permanent brain damage after he was prescribed an overdose of the anti-alcoholism drug Antabuse during alcohol aversion therapy.
Wow.
The case had been avoided by every other associate at the firm that he was at, but John was like, I could do it.
Wow.
So this case, the award was something like $3.7 million. So
Nice.
John immediately became a big dog at the firm he was at.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, he also helped plaintiffs sue the Red Cross for 3 separate occasions, alleging transmission of AIDS through blood-tainted products, resulting in confidential settlements for each of his clients.
This was back in like the 70s or 80s?
1984.
Okay. Well, I'm sure that led to a lot of like better standards and practices at the Red Cross. So
For sure. John established legal precedent in a case in 1985 when a child was born with cerebral palsy after a doctor chose not to perform an immediate C-section after a fetal monitor showed the baby was in distress.
yeah.
This case established physician and hospital liability for failing to determine if the patient understood risks of particular procedures, and the family won like $4 million off this case.
Wow.
This brought John to national attention as a plaintiff's lawyer. He then represented 20 plaintiffs in similar lawsuits in the following years, achieving settlements of more than $60 million for his clients.
Shit.
Then, at this time, there was a national increase in C-sections, which most people believed were in direct correlation to avoid these types of medical malpractice lawsuits.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to me because I was born by a C-section. Like, I never thought about it, but like at the time, like a lot of my aunts and my mom were giving birth, and a lot of them had C-section.
Really?
And I kind of hear less C-section now, like with friends that I know. Not that I have many friends that have kids, but I mean, I haven't had I don't know anybody who's had a C-section recently.
You know why? It's because the C-sections kind of shot up, but then people don't really realize the risk associated. It's a surgery.
Right.
It's a major surgery, and it also requires a lot of recovery time.
Yeah. You get more maternity leave if you have a child by C-section.
Right.
It's still like something fucking barely in the US. I think you get like two more weeks or something.
Ugh. And it's like, you have your baby, and then after you have a C-section, imagine it's still being in recovery, not being able to carry them like as much as you would want to and stuff like that. So it's like,
yeah, you don't want to do that.
There's been a bit of a backlash.
Huh. In 1993, John left the firm he was at and established his own firm because he was known at this time as the top plaintiff's attorney in North Carolina.
Wow.
The largest case of his career was a 1996 product liability lawsuit against the manufacturer of a defective pool drain. A 3-year-old girl named Valerie was...
Oh, God. I knew you were going to say something absolutely horrible.
Do you know this?
No, but when you said pool drain, I was like, somebody got stuck in it, didn't they?
No. But you know what's crazy is when I started doing this research, I've heard of this case before. I don't remember studying it in law school. I think I just heard of it somewhere, and I didn't realize that it was John Edwards who had represented the family. But anyways, Valerie, she was disemboweled by the suction power of the pool drain pump when she sat on an open pool drain whose protective cover had been removed.
No.
The manufacturer of the pool drain had been sued 12 times before, and they continued to make and sell the same covers without warning.
Well, fuck those assholes.
This case was ongoing for years.
Yes, that's like the hot coffee thing.
What hot coffee thing?
the famous McDonald's suit, how they had been sued for having their coffee being too hot several times before until this woman had catastrophic injuries related to that.
Seriously.
Tort reform.
In 1996, during the life of this case, Wade Edwards, John's eldest son, unexpectedly died at the age of 16.
What?
He had lost control of his Jeep and crashed while driving from their house in Riley to the family beach house in Wilmington.
Wow.
Just 3 weeks before he died, Wade had been honored by First Lady Hillary Clinton at the White House as one of 10 finalists in an essay contest because of an essay that he wrote about entering the voting booth with his father.
Oh my God, chills.
I know.
I have goosebumps.
I know. After his death, John and his wife Elizabeth decided that they wanted to have some more children. So she underwent fertility treatment and they had a daughter named Emma in 1998 and a son named Jack in 2000.
Damn.
I know.
Okay.
Following the death of Wade, Elizabeth retired from private legal practice.
Mm-hmm.
She had, up until now, kept her maiden name, but then she legally changed it to Edwards after Wade died. You know, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. You want to have that connection to your child.
Of course, yeah. She then devoted much of her time to the administration of a foundation that was made in memory of Wade and to teaching legal writing at the University of North Carolina School of Law.
Shout out to this queen.
I know. In his closing arguments for Valerie's lawsuit, John spoke to the jury for an hour and a half, and he referenced his son who had just been killed shortly before testimony closed.
Wow.
The jury ended up awarding the family $25 million, which was the largest personal injury award in North Carolina history.
Wow.
John and his partner, David Kirby, then earned the National Award for Public Service by the Trial Lawyers of America. And Valerie's family was so impressed with John's intelligence and commitment that they volunteered for his Senate campaign the following year.
Oh, cool.
I also read something pretty cool, like Valerie's family was saying that they chose John, even though he was a medical malpractice attorney, like he had been known as that. They chose him because every other firm that they went to immediately after hearing what the case was, the issues and stuff, they were all saying we need to take half of all the ward, this is like an extraordinarily difficult case, so instead of 1/3 we need half fees, like right off the bat. And that John was like, and they all wanted like a crazy retainer, and that John's firm was the only one that was like, oh no, we'll just do it like based on the words,
the
like
standard,
regular,
right?
yeah, we don't need like any extra retainer. Like he really had sympathy for them. They had just lost their fucking daughter.
Yeah. That case, that's wild, because don't you do, like, especially when you're a kid, don't you do that when you're in a pool? Like you go sit by the fucking thing and like you put your foot on it and
you're just fucking around like so innocently.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Freak accidents.
That's the scariest.
Yeah.
That's let's not even get into that. Remember the balloon thing you told me?
No. Oh, somebody swallowed it.
Yeah. And it was twins, right?
Yeah.
Fuck that. According to John's autobiographical book, 4 Trials, the success of Valerie's case...
4?
Yeah.
The number 4?
Yeah, the number 4. The success of Valerie's case combined with his son Wade's death prompted him to seek public office and leave behind the legal profession.
Okay. Also, it seems like
that's the right
he made his money,
right?
and like it's you can do that. Yeah, and if you're really interested in public work, which it sounds like he is, you're in a position of comfort where you can actually do that.
Right. You could take the hit on your like income or whatever. In 1998, John successfully won election to the U.S. Senate as a Democrat. His policy positions included programs to eliminate poverty, college for everyone initiatives. He supported abortion rights, but quietly, kind of. He's
from the South.
Yeah.
You know?
He supported universal health care. He supported pathways to citizenship for undocumented immigrants, and he supported efforts to slow down global warming. That was a huge thing for him, was global warming and poverty.
Yeah, he was very progressive at a time where not many people were doing all of those things.
He sure was. During President Clinton's impeachment trial, John was the person who deposed Monica Lewinsky, which led to some of the greatest deposition transcripts of all time. Shout out to our episode, Presidential Boner. Go listen to our Monica Lewinsky episode. That might be my favorite episode of this podcast. During the 2000 presidential campaign, John was on Democratic nominee Al Gore's vice president nominee shortlist, and he didn't end up making the cut, but it showed everybody how fast he was rising as a Democrat.
Yeah, he's a star. I mean, he's like, he's a vanilla-looking white man.
He has good charisma.
Right.
He's
looks good in this suit.
Exactly. He was like a humble. I can't do that drawl that May was doing. He was a Northern Carolinian boy, but he was very savvy and progressive, like you said.
Yeah.
And another big thing for him was that not only did he know how to work the crowds, but so did Elizabeth.
Yeah.
She's a very educated woman to have by his side.
Right.
That same year, he privately decided that he would actually try to run for president. So he started doing some speaking engagements here and there. And in 2003, he began fundraising without officially campaigning yet. But finally, on September 15th, 2003, John announced his intention to seek the 2004 presidential nomination while he was a guest on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart.
Okay, yeah.
He declined to run for re-election in the Senate in order to focus on the presidential run.
My man.
Yeah.
Okay.
John's wife, Elizabeth, joined him on the campaign trail and became one of his closest advisors. Having been a successful trial lawyer herself for almost 2 decades, Elizabeth's devotion to his political career only skyrocketed his success.
Oh, man. I'm looking at their wedding photo.
I know. Let me see. Aww. I like old, 80s wedding photos like that.
Yeah,
70s.
me too.
Yeah, because it was before, weddings became a whole fucking disaster.
A spectacle.
Yeah, because back then, everybody got married, right? So it was
yeah,
it was just more okay, this is a thing you do, and then you have a small little party. Now it's a whole fucking debacle.
Yeah, if I ever get married, make sure you guys take hoogies.
Yeah.
Want to have that swag.
If I could give any advice to anybody getting married, I would say, please don't listen to anybody. Just do what you want. I every time I look back at my wedding, I'm like, why didn't I just do what I wanted? Why did I listen to my family so much?
Because you had a big ass family. It's for them.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
You know?
Yeah, but whatever.
You get to enjoy the marriage. They get to enjoy the wedding.
Yeah, I enjoyed my bachelorette party.
Hey.
So John was really great at fundraising, especially with all of his ties to the legal profession.
Oh, sure. And he had the bank ties, too.
Yeah. So, all of his homies that were super successful attorneys, everybody was giving him a shit ton of money right away. Mm-hmm. So he quickly amassed over $8 million during the first quarter.
Wow.
Yeah. His polling numbers were slow to pick up speed, but started to rise and landed him in second place behind John Kerry. Howard Dean dropped out after the South Carolina primary, and John, I remember that guy?
That's why he lost, yeah. Remember? He was like, well, we're going to go to Utah, and then we're going to go to Iowa, and then we're going to... That's a scandal in and of itself.
It is.
You lose a whole ass nomination because you made a weird noise.
You can't just keep that shit to yourself. What do we tell you? So John continued to finish behind Kerry and officially withdrew in North Carolina, allowing Kerry to push through as the Democratic nominee.
Remember when when presidential candidates used to drop out?
Yeah, remember when that was a thing? Because you were like, this is the right thing to do, right?
Right. Yeah. I'm not going to win this thing. It's my time. Yeah. Remember?
Then on July 6, 2004, John Kerry announced that John Edwards would be his running mate. This was met with great applause from the public. Ultimately, they lost and Bush won.
Also, that's a really great choice because John Kerry is not known for being charismatic.
No, he's not.
It's a good balance.
Right. So after everything finished, Kerry's campaign advisor dropped some tea that John Kerry had actually admitted to him that he wished he had never picked John Edwards, and they completely stopped talking to each other after they lost.
Whoa.
That's crazy, right?
Why though?
Well,
you think it's a jealousy thing?
I don't know. Just think about that though, because
knowing what we know
exactly.
now, yeah. Okay.
On November 3rd, 2004, John's family suffered a huge blow when his wife Elizabeth was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer.
Oh.
She had discovered a lump in her breast while campaigning with John in Wisconsin.
Oh, holy shit.
I know.
And like in the middle of all of that.
Imagine. She underwent treatment and became an activist for women's health and cancer patients. At first, her treatments were working positively, and John opened up an investment firm while eyeing the 2008 election.
Okay.
In 2006, John decided again officially to run for president in the 2008 election. He made the announcement while standing in the front yard of a home in New Orleans that was being rebuilt after Hurricane Katrina. That's a whole ass move right there.
Yeah.
His main goals were, again, to eliminate poverty, fight global warming, provide universal health care, and withdraw as many troops as possible from Iraq.
I could get behind
All of those things, right? This John Edwards just, I mean, not to jump the gun, but like, he's someone that's so disappointing to me. Like in the similarly, like to like Anthony Weiner, like, I thought you were gonna be the president, like, you know.
And you have all of the pieces.
Yeah,
you know,
like someone
it's
I
right
thought
there.
I could really stand behind.
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
But at this time, so John was falling in third place behind Obama and Hillary Clinton, both in the polls and in fundraising. His campaign then hired a woman named Rielle Hunter to produce some webisodes that portrayed behind-the-scenes life on the campaign trail.
How old was she?
I don't know. Let me see.
Okay.
That is important, actually.
Because it sounds like maybe it was different back then, but for sure, like if it were today, this person would be like 21 years old.
So I think it was actually. So she was born in 1964. So 10 years after him.
Okay.
Yeah, she's 10 years younger than him.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So. Okay, so Rielle had allegedly pitched the idea of the webisode series to John when she happened to meet him at a bar in New York where he was attending a business meeting. The campaign paid her production company $100,000 for
Okay.
for short documentaries that were uploaded directly to YouTube.
Is it anti-woman or anti-feminist to be like, that is some expensive pussy right there?
No, it's just very matter of fact.
Okay.
A few months after they were posted on YouTube, the webisodes were thoroughly scrubbed from the internet, and staffers kind of smelled something fishy.
Okay.
Meanwhile, during the campaign trail, John boycotted a Fox News sponsored presidential debate in 2007, and Hillary and Obama quickly followed his lead.
Mm-hmm.
The same year, he and Elizabeth announced that her cancer had returned, although she was asymptomatic. She told the public that she would continue to work as an active part of John's campaign. Her doctor then described that the stage 4 metastasized breast cancer was not curable but was treatable.
Okay.
Elizabeth often spoke to the public about the ups and downs of her treatment in a very matter-of-fact way. And at times she would be like, sometimes I feel like I can beat this, and sometimes I feel really hopeless. So she was really honest and relatable, and the public really, really loved Elizabeth. Like, go ahead.
What is this man doing on the trail?
Who, John?
Yeah. You know, like,
Go
I feel
home.
like this, go home. And I'm sure Elizabeth, the type of person she is, she's obviously very ambitious and a wonderful, like, accomplished woman as well. So I'm sure she must have been like, no, this is your time. You got to do this. But at the same time, though.
Yeah. Like, if it's, I mean, I wouldn't want it. If I thought that something like that with Howell, I would just want to spend as much time with him as possible.
Yeah, yeah. For sure. Especially because I think it was becoming clear that he wasn't going to win.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
I mean, like, I don't really remember. Like, I remember John Edwards. I remember, like, being behind what he stood for. Yeah. But I also remember, like, thinking, it's gonna be Obama.
At first, I feel like everyone was like, it's gonna be Hillary. And then Obama took off after he won in Iowa. And then it became like, oh shit, is it gonna be Obama or is it gonna be Hillary? But I think that everyone else completely fell off after that.
Yeah, like John wasn't like a heavy contender.
Right. And Obama was a phenomenon, you know?
Obama could talk to me about anything. and I would
Yeah.
be like completely mesmerized.
Right. So it's like all the more reason to go home and be with your family.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I'm with you for sure. On August 27th, 2007, the New York Post first mentioned a possible affair between John and Riel. It was a this is the 5th call from the fucking Social Security Administration.
Ugh.
That's so annoying.
Have you tried to answer?
No. But at the 3rd time, I was like, maybe I should. And then I didn't.
Yeah, because I did it one time and they stopped calling me.
Okay, maybe I will.
And I yelled at them. I used some harsh language.
Oh, wow, man. What did you say? This is an inconvenience. Please stop. I'm sorry for the loudness.
I dropped some F-bombs. I said, this is frowned upon.
Don't watch me cuss out like a service provider. I one time got our internet and cable down so low that shit might as well have been free.
Hey.
Okay, so the New York Post put this thing, it was a blind gossip item, which for anybody who follows NT Lawyer or Crazy Days and Nights, it sounds like exactly like how he writes things. It said, quote, which political candidate enjoys visiting New York because he has a girlfriend who lives downtown? The poll tells her he'll marry her when his current wife is out of the picture, end quote.
Ugh.
At that time, people didn't put this together, but now obviously we know.
Yeah.
This led to the tabloids picking up speed on this story, but it was only that at that time. It was just tabloid gossip.
Yeah.
On October 10th, 2007, the National Enquirer published an article claiming that John engaged in an extramarital affair with the female campaign worker. The Huffington Post published an article the same day, including the name of Riel and the webisodes that had been mysteriously scrubbed from YouTube.
Damn. So his staff clearly knew what the fuck was up, like way before any of this even came out.
I think so.
Because they were like, no, this is a bad look.
Yeah. John and Hunter both immediately denied the relationship. John publicly said, quote, I have been in love with the same woman for 30 plus years. And as anybody who's been around us knows, Elizabeth is an extraordinary human being, warm, loving, beautiful, sexy, and as good a person as I have ever known. That's a move.
Wait, so no, I didn't hear a denial.
He did deny it though. I think I just cut out this part.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I get it because John's marriage to Elizabeth was kind of like a part of his whole thing. It was like a part of what the public loved. He seemed devoted to this super smart and successful, slightly older woman. Like I think she's a few years older than him. And they would publicly disagree on things from time to time because she was always loudly against the Iraq war from the beginning, and John would flip-flop on that. Yeah. And then John was kind of conservative about the same-sex marriage thing, while Elizabeth proudly supported same-sex marriage.
Right. Super like Clinton in the early 90s vibe. Like people loved the package.
Of course,
you know?
Yeah.
They want to vote for the man who would have this kind of woman as a wife.
Exactly.
You know?
And you want to have a president who, even if he differs from your political opinion, respects you still, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Which that makes me so sad now, but okay. Hunter issued a denial via political blog saying that the stories were completely unfounded and ridiculous. But the editor-in-chief at the National Enquirer issued a statement not backing down and saying that the story was 100% accurate. On December 19th, 2007, the National Enquirer did a follow-up showing a photo of a visibly pregnant Hunter.
Holy shit.
An anonymous source said that Hunter claimed that John was the baby daddy.
Yo.
At the same time, Hunter relocated into a gated community near Andrew Young, who was a former official with John's campaign.
Okay.
Hunter then made a public announcement after this picture came out. She made a public announcement that yes, she was pregnant, but that Andrew Young was the father. Andrew Young, by the way, is married also.
Oh, God.
And
ooh, this scandal is great.
It's juicy. Then Andrew, his family, and Hunter all moved to California.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yes.
That's wild.
I
Your
know.
wife is like, all right, come on, bitch.
I know. Again, during this whole time, the mainstream media was kind of tiptoeing around this drama. A
Yeah.
couple of journalists speculated that people really were avoiding it because they didn't want to harm Elizabeth, who, remember, is fighting fucking stage 4 breast cancer.
Literally fighting for her life.
Yes. So a lot of people thought they were just like, they want to respect her. This is just gossip.
And the problem is when something even of merit sort of originates in a place like the Inquirer,
Mhm.
like you also tend to want to dismiss it.
Exactly. Some Washington Post writers at this time specifically said, "We don't know if this is true. It all seems false." And there were a lot of recommendations at this time that John sue the National Enquirer because, people thought it was fake.
Yeah.
In 2008, John placed second behind Obama during the Iowa caucus. He had been a rising star in the Democratic Party pretty much up until this point, but then he lost the primary in his home state of South Carolina, coming in third, so he officially suspended his campaign for presidency. Obama
Nice
fucking murdered him in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Which is real embarrassing.
Because I think before Iowa, people were like, we're never going to have a black president. And then he wins Iowa and then it's like, oh my God, this could happen.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right, we're fucking doing this.
Mm-hmm. At first, John wouldn't endorse Clinton or Obama, saying that they both pledged to carry his central campaign of ending poverty. So he was kind of on both of their sides, which is kind of John's move. He likes to play the middle a lot. Speaking of Chris Pratt, because that's kind of what he would do with same-sex marriage. That's kind of what he would do with the Iraq war.
Yeah, yeah.
But in May, he ended up officially endorsing Obama while in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
He was also flip-flopping at this time about whether or not he would accept a VP slot if it was offered to him. But ultimately, that went to Joe Biden, so the decision was made for him.
Mm-hmm.
And now I wonder if part of the reason they wouldn't give him the VP slot is because of this scandal that was unraveling and that they didn't know what was going on for real,
Yeah, yeah.
Elizabeth, who had up until this point who was still John's closest advisor up until this point, officially became a professional advisor for Barack Obama on healthcare issues.
Wow.
I know, she's amazing.
Yeah.
She then became a fellow at the American Progress Action Fund and testified to Congress about healthcare on their behalf, all the while battling cancer and dealing with the public speculation of her husband's affair.
A literal queen.
A fucking queen.
A boss.
Speaking of which, Hunter, who had become pregnant in May 2007, gave birth to a daughter on February 27, 2008 in Santa Barbara, California.
Okay.
She did not list the father on the birth certificate, and she listed her own name as Riel Jaya James Druck.
What? And is that in any way her legal name at all?
No.
Or, it's just a random... Is that legal? Can you do that?
You can. Also, she did give her daughter the surname Hunter. Also, though, Riel, I didn't go too deep into researching what the fuck she was about, because I think I know what the fuck she was about. We're all about to know what the fuck she was about. But Riel Hunter is not her birth name either. She changed her name a few times. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah. And then she did webisodes. And then she did John Edwards. The National Enquirer received anonymous information that John was going to visit Hunter and the newly born daughter at the Beverly Hilton in Beverly Hills, California on July 21st, 2008.
I need to be a fly on the wall in Elizabeth's group chat.
Oh, for sure.
No, they didn't have group chats back then, but what's going on with her at this time?
I don't know. But of course this would affect her treatment, her health, just her just your own personal will, I think, right? Fuck this guy.
Yeah, because you lose the person who's supposed to be in your corner.
Yeah.
Who's obviously concerned with literally everything else besides you.
You know what's the worst too is when you're in a relationship, and especially if you've been in a relationship for a really long time, that person becomes the person who knows you more than like anybody else.
Mhm.
They're like the person you're
Yeah.
closest to. So I
Yeah.
think to feel that kind of betrayal from someone like him, that's just got to be heartbreak on a whole nother fucking level.
Right.
The National Enquirer had several reporters dispatched to the Beverly Hilton who encountered John on hotel premises at 2 a.m. on July 22nd. According to reporters, John dipped away from them to a bathroom until he was able to be escorted out by hotel security. Like he came across a reporter like in the staircase, then he like ran down the staircase into a hall, came across more reporters, and then he fucking dipped into the bathroom.
What a fool. That looks even worse than just like,
Well, hey,
just, yeah, just put your head down and walk through. He did the Homer Simpson gif where he like backs into the
into the
the
bush,
lawn,
yeah.
the hedge. Yeah. Didn't Sean Spicer did that literally, like hid in a bush, remember?
No, when?
It was like towards the end of his tenure at the White House. Like he was walking through the garden at the White House and then he caught some reporters and he hid in a bush.
Oh, man. A hotel guard was later interviewed by Fox News and he confirmed the entire story. John's personal campaign people would not respond to Fox's request for comment. Immediately after this, the National Enquirer claimed to have a video of John entering the room that Hunter was in for several hours and later leaving the same room. But they were being sketchy about this and declined to release the video or any photos of the incident because other news sources started saying like, well, we need the National Enquirer to release that so that we can do our own investigations or whatever.
Oh, sure.
But National Enquirer was saying that they were waiting for the time to be right before they released this stuff.
Okay.
On July 23rd, 2008, so the next day, John was questioned at a public event in New Orleans about the alleged hotel incident. He responded to the reporter by saying, quote, I have no idea what you're asking about. I've responded consistently to these lies and I stand by my response. You're defensive, dude.
And that's not the move. They caught your ass.
Yeah.
You know? Like, stop trying. Remember in Chicago, somebody says, like, are you going to believe what I see or what you see or what I tell you?
Yeah.
You know? Like, what the fuck?
Finally, this story began picking up speed in other now major news sources. The Washington Post stated that they were now investigating whether or not this was true, but also with the caveat that John was no longer an elected official or running for any office, so they weren't like all about it.
Oh, yeah, sure, you have like some sort of right to privacy.
Yeah. During this time, international papers also began to pick up the story, including the London Times, Irish Independent, The Independent, and Der Spiegel.
Yeah.
There was a lot of speculation that John was being protected by the media because he was a Democrat, but others said it was mostly because other news sources didn't think the National Enquirer was credible, like you say, which,
Yeah.
you know, I get that.
Right.
It's not, I wouldn't want to talk on this podcast about a story I saw in the National Enquirer. You know what I mean? So you think that the Washington Post or the New York Times, that they're going to want to publish a story based on something the National Enquirer says? No.
Right.
And then again, people again brought up the idea that the non-coverage was actually because people were actually really protective and sympathetic towards Elizabeth, who, once again, must I remind you, is currently battling stage 4 breast cancer.
Yeah. You know what? It's probably a combination of all of those things.
I'm sure it is too.
But the protection of him as a Democrat, I mean, maybe to some extent. Maybe I would see that more if this was like post the 2004 election, where it seems like he still has some sort of future in politics.
Right.
But post 2008, I feel like twice a loser. He's not coming back from that sort of.
Right. He's not going to run again.
Yeah. There's no need to protect him at that point.
Right. If the media was going to protect him,
right,
there was no longer a reason to.
Yes, exactly. So if that played some sort of role, I feel like it would be minuscule at best.
Right. I also don't think the media, like people think like the media protects Democrats because they're
a bias. They're the liberal bias, they say.
Right. But I don't think liberals are like that.
Right. I would say, and I mean, obviously with the bias, I mean that we are liberals, but I feel like when we do something, we like to call people out on it.
Yeah, we like to check ourselves. I think that's more a red thing. I'm just gonna say that. I'm sorry again. Hey man, I have family members that are Republican and I still love them. If y'all are a fucking fan, I still love you, you know? We're just different. Like Chris Pratt said, hey.
There are very fine people on both sides, like the president said. Hey.
There's a lot of fine young men out there. Eh? All right. On August 8th, 2008, due to a high number of emails to the LA Times, the national editor Scott Kraft stated publicly that he believed that this was actually a legitimate story.
All right, so now we have a real news source.
Right. The very same day, John issued the following statement, quote, "In 2006, I made a serious error in judgment and conducted myself in a way that was disloyal to my family and to my core beliefs. I recognized my mistake and I told my wife that I had a liaison with another woman and I asked for her forgiveness. Although I was honest in every painful detail with my family, I did not tell the public. When a supermarket tabloid told a version of the story, I used the fact that the story contained many falsities to deny it. But being 99% honest is no longer enough." Okay. That's an attorney's admission to lying right there if I ever heard one.
It depends on what the definition of is. But it seems, okay, 99% honest is a stretch because
he was quite the stretch.
More like 99% dishonest, exactly. I would say.
He also said that he was willing to take a paternity test and denied that he was the father of Riel's baby. Elizabeth made a statement saying that John had made a mistake, but she also praised his courage in the face of shame. Okay. But once again, to recap, what I'm telling you guys is that John Edwards cheated on his wife of over 30 years who was dying of cancer. Mm-hmm. That is not a man. I'm sorry to this man, but you are not a man.
Right. What kind of a person are you?
You're barely a fucking person.
Right.
Ugh. Also, I wanted to mention this because I thought this was really interesting. David Carr, a writer for the New York Times, wrote this really great story after all of this came out, after John admitted to it and everything, talking about how mainstream media can't venture into certain stories because they think maybe this is all just bullshit, right? But that the National Enquirer's revelations about John and who he really was actually like a huge service to the public, and they needed to commend them as a news source.
I mean, that's true.
It is true because the thing is, I get what he was saying too is like, we can't take these risks. You know, like if you're part of like the New York Times, the Huffington Post has like a higher standard.
That's sort of dangerous to say though, because it's like, but we had this conversation around the time people were seriously giving TMZ Pulitzers for breaking a lot of the stories about like the Ray Rice story,
which they do.
Right.
For a while,
they break a lot of those stories.
You said the timeline one time because after Ray Rice, they had like a bunch, right?
Yeah. So it's like he's absolutely right. A lot of the mainstream news sources don't want to touch this stuff.
Yeah.
And you have to get your hands dirty sometimes to get the real story.
Yeah. And the public deserves to know because in the meantime, the big problem with John Edwards, I think especially, is that we were all lied to. This is not the man that you thought. Yeah. And that's where I think, like, did John Kerry know something that we didn't know? Like, why did he completely stop talking to him?
Yeah,
maybe he saw through him and saw who he actually fucking was, you know?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the public's only being told what they want to be told.
Right. And I think that a lot of times a politician's personal life is not necessarily relevant.
Right.
But this was part of the package that we were being sold.
Right.
And also, I think it's 100% relevant because a person that has this sort of, or this little integrity, these little morals, is not the type of person that I want
in public
to
office.
Look to as a leader.
Right. This is like, yeah, exactly. Like, could he have any less morals?
Right.
Could you be any less of a person? Like, do you have a heart? I don't know.
Right.
Like, this is so shocking to me.
It's disgusting.
It's so disgusting. On August 12, 2008, Riel's homie got on an interview with CBS and said that the Edwards were full of shit. John and Riel had been together for at least 6 months before he hired her, and it wasn't a one-time liaison like he was making it seem. They were in a full-blown fucking relationship together. The very next day, Riel's sister, Roxanne, also gave an interview to CBS. Shout out to CBS, shelling out this interview money. Again, saying that this affair was way, way longer that John and his wife were both admitting to. But she also did publicly apologize to Elizabeth for her sister's behavior. Although, I mean, I think, yeah, she should apologize, but mostly John.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I don't want to let her off the hook because also,
you knew
what are the morals of someone who would get into this sort of relationship with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
During this segment, CBS legal analyst Michelle Sherman said that John could possibly be in legal jeopardy if he had used any campaign funds that were raised to run for office and had given those to like a girlfriend. And he says it kind of like just like a fleeting comment.
Yeah.
Edwards' campaign finance chairman then told NBC that he had provided financial assistance to Riel and Andrew Young, but without John's knowledge. And also that it wasn't campaign funds that were being used. Allegedly, Andrew was receiving funds from a 99-year-old heiress, Rachel Lammer Mellon, aka Bunny. She's a very famous heiress. You see characters based off her on different shows. For me, the one that comes to mind is Mozart in the Jungle. They have like a straight up older woman heiress named Bunny who like gives all this money to the New York Symphony.
Oh, okay. I'm getting Sunny von Bülow vibes.
Yeah. Beginning in May 2007, Bunny contributed more than $725,000 to John's personal accounts over an 8-month period, writing checks disguised as furniture purchases.
Okay.
She wrote letters to Andrew Young saying, quote, "Any haircuts or anything like that that's necessary for John's campaign, please send all bills to me."
Well, that's illegal. That violates campaign finance because you have a limit as to how much you can give as an individual.
For what it's worth, Bunny didn't realize that the funds were being secured in order to support Riel, but still what she did was illegal.
Yeah.
George Stephanopoulos from ABC News found that most of John's staffers had become aware of the affair in early 2008. Further investigation showed that a lot of staffers actually quit after their suspicions grew about the affair between John and Riel.
Hey, shout out. That's an example of what we were saying, because I think that if it were on the other side of the aisle,
right.
I don't know that many people would quit.
Of course not. They would try to hide it.
Yeah.
In 2009, Elizabeth published a book saying that John had told her that it was a one-night stand and not a full-blown relationship. She said that after she learned how serious the affair had been, she asked John to drop out of the presidential race and focus on rebuilding their family, but that he refused.
Oh my God.
Imagine your sick wife of 30 years is asking you.
Yeah, and you refuse.
Yeah, you're a dick. You're a super dick.
Yeah. Where are your priorities?
Yeah. In late 2010, federal grand jury started an investigation over whether any of John's campaign funds were used in covering up this affair, and Riel was subpoenaed to testify. The campaign was complying with the inquiry like 100%. On January 21st, 2010, John publicly admitted that he was actually the father of Riel's daughter. Less than a week later, John and Elizabeth publicly separated. Andrew Young later wrote a book about this whole cover-up that he was a part of. He said that Elizabeth found out about the affair on a night when she picked up a phone call from Riel to John. Like, she picked up John's phone and it was Riel. And Riel started like as soon as she picked it up, that Riel started like saying shit like, "I love you," like all this stuff. And so she confronted John, and he had told her that that it was a one-night stand, and that he just like whatever couldn't get away from her. Andrew also said that John wouldn't leave Elizabeth because she was so good at engaging with the American voters.
That's why?
Yeah. He said that John always knew that the baby was his and that John pleaded with him to falsely accept responsibility. So Andrew was in on the cover up. So remember, like, he and his family and Riel all moved to California together? Yeah, like he was in on this whole thing.
What kind of soldier do you have right there? That's some
scary.
House of Cards shit.
That is some House of Cards shit. What's that guy's name? That bald guy?
Yeah. Oh, I love that
Me
guy.
too. Andrew said that he would set up private meetings between
Doug.
Yeah. Andrew said that he would set up private meetings between John and Riel, and once overheard John calming Riel by promising to marry her in a rooftop ceremony with the Dave Matthews Band just after Elizabeth dies.
This is disgusting.
This is so disgusting. Andrew also tried to make a movie about the whole ordeal years later, but he was stopped by John's lawyers. In December 2010, like I said, Elizabeth separated from John. North Carolina's family law states that parties have to be legally separated for... It's the fucking... Again, let me pick this up real fast.
Yeah, do it.
Hello? It's a recording.
Yeah, press 1, talk to a person.
You know what's funny is that this phone number was somebody else's before, so I'm sure it's not even like my name. Hi, you need to take my number off this list because this is some fraudulent bullshit. Go fuck yourself. What'd you say?
I said, if you don't fuck with me, I said fuck with me.
Go
Let me have a sex with you so that I can remove your number from my list and you won't receive any kind of call again in the future.
If I have sex with you, you'll take my number off the Social Security Administration list?
Yes.
What the fuck, man? What the fuck, man?
That was submit.
He was like, if you have sex with me for an hour, I'll take you off a list.
An hour?
Yeah, an hour. Damn, bro.
What do I look like?
What do you think this is? IHOP?
An hour.
What the hell?
I'm telling you, that was submit from 90 Day Fiancé.
Ooh, I'm scared. I'm so glad you guys are both right here because I got like the chills. What a fucking creep.
Ew.
I forgot where I was at. Oh my god. What a weirdo. If you can have sex with me for an hour, I will take you off the list. What the hell? All right. So how fake is that shit? How awful.
Oh God! And they get somebody's grandma
That's
like
awful.
at least like once a day.
I know they have to. All right. North Carolina's family law states that parties have to be legally separated for 1 year before they're able to officially file for divorce. So Elizabeth had intended to formally divorce John just after the year had passed.
Yeah.
But the very next week, her cancer took a turn for the worse, and she announced that the cancer had metastasized to her liver, and so treatment wasn't going to be life-saving anymore. So she decided to discontinue all treatment.
All right. A queen, I tell you.
Elizabeth died on December 7th, 2010 at 61 years old, 1 day after making the public statement that she was going to discontinue treatment. She died at home surrounded by her family, including John, and she was buried next to her son, Wade. R.I.P.
Oh, R.I.P. She should have run for president.
She definitely should have. Her and Hillary.
Mm-hmm.
There's these fucking women of these problematic men. The following year, after a 2-year investigation, on June 3rd, 2011, John was indicted by a North Carolina grand jury on 6 felony charges of campaign finance law violations, conspiracy, and making false statements. It appeared that he had used more than $1 million in political donations in order to hide his affair, mostly the money that was coming from that heiress, Bunny. She passed away during all of this, Bunny. She was 99 back when she was giving the money, you know?
Damn, she did not give a single solitary fuck. She was
She's like, all right, I'm going to die right now. Bye.
Yeah. Yo, how come he didn't use his own money? Because Elizabeth would see?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's part of the cover-up, right? Like, I'm sure they're we're talking about people that got married in the 70s. They were definitely like on a joint bank account.
Yeah. But I figure he has enough money to where, a few thousand here, a few thousand there wouldn't.
Maybe, but Elizabeth's a smart woman too. You don't think she kept that shit on check?
That's true. Yeah.
So John entered into pretty intense plea bargain agreements to try and plead guilty to a few misdemeanors in order to be able to keep his law license. But negotiations failed, so the jury trial began on April 12th, 2012. He was found not guilty on May 31st, 2012 with regard to the campaign funding from Bunny, and the other 5 charges were dropped due to a mistrial. Then the Justice Department decided not to retry him, so he got lucky.
They just declined. Yeah. I want to also point out that this is exactly the problem with the Stormy Daniels, Michael Cohen thing.
Right.
So there is, cause to indict both Cohen and the president.
Of course. Yeah. Of course there is.
So,
but John isn't a president, right? So he doesn't get to hide behind that. And this clown is the president, so he gets to hide behind that.
Not for long, inshallah.
Yep. Riel then published a book about her own relationship with John, and she announced their breakup in 2012. But in 2016, she started doing another round of interviews. I don't know if she was down for cash or something. And she revealed that actually she and John had stayed together all the way through 2015. Jesus. So they were in a relationship for a long time.
But is this the type of man that you want to be with?
She wanted to. Obviously, she did.
If he could do this to her, to Elizabeth, like, what's he gonna do to you fucking webisode?
You webisode ass bitch. You ain't gonna make him president.
Right.
I don't know. I feel that way.
President of that pussy.
Just like people that I know that have started a full-blown marriage based on an affair, and like, you're never gonna stop looking over your shoulder. Is that the life you want to live? I don't know.
Some people don't mind that, I guess. Some people, because you know what? Some people are going to be looking over their shoulder regardless.
That's true,
they just don't have that level of trust with someone. Right. So it's like, well.
Might as well.
With someone that you love, that you, and you gave up so much to be with each other,
for sure. As for John, he returned to practicing law after his political career went up in flames. He opened a private law firm that handles PI and high-profile medical malpractice cases once again.
Might hire him, low-key. Yeah. If I ever had the need for that, it seems like he's good at it.
Yeah. John's story is one of the last ones where a scandal and shame actually ended a political career, which hasn't happened in what seems like a really long fucking time.
Yeah, true.
And that's the story of John Edwards.
Well, that was...
What a disaster that was.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favorite things that we've talked about, though. Good job.
Thank you. That one's really interesting. I think you reminded me of it a few episodes back, and I was like, oh, fuck, I want to do John Edwards.
Yeah. I hope that... So she dropped a book, right? Hunter?
Hunter. And so did Elizabeth. Before she passed, she wrote a book about, like, her battle with cancer and the scandal and everything.
I kind of I want to know more from their perspectives. Like, what?
Me too.
What was happening there? I would this should be a movie.
Totally should. You know what I think, mate? What I was thinking, because Elizabeth passed at her house and like John was there. John's her family. Like, you know, like regardless of what happens in their marriage, they're parents to these kids and they've been through so much together and shit.
That's probably why he was there, though, because you have to, you have your children. Yeah. They need their father in a moment like that.
That's true. But do you think there's anything, like, what could he say to her in those last moments that, honestly, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't even want him around me.
He could give her the last parting gift of silence.
That's true.
Of just shutting the fuck up and just silently being there for their kids, because she knows that her kids are going to need someone, and hopefully he could be that person.
Yeah, he would step up to the plate. His daughter does run like one of his firms, actually. That was everywhere. Something that was really sad that I read that he wrote after his son Wade died was that Wade was like really, really good in school, and he showed a lot of interest in law and politics and stuff. And so like Wade wanted to go to law school, and he talked about how like he built his firm up and always thought that his son would be practicing law next to him one day, and then that was all
Ugh.
taken from him. That was really sad.
Maybe, I mean, I almost like forget about the Wade situation once we get into the scandal.
Yeah,
But something like that can really change a
it
person.
can. It's true.
It could shake you to your core.
Of course.
So maybe like
Losing.
for a person who ordinarily would never do something like that, maybe it's like he thinks to himself, well, I have this connection with this person and life is so fleeting and could be taken in a second.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe I should just go for it.
Maybe, yeah. It's gotta change your perspective on a lot of things.
Yeah.
To lose a child that young too.
Ugh. Yeah.
Do you think that if this were to happen now, that his career would have ended?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's like particularly ugly.
Yeah. Because it just makes you feel
It leaves a
like,
bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah. It makes you feel gross, man.
Yeah.
Like,
So something that I read also about John Kerry and the fallout that they had was that, which makes me think that John Edwards is not who he puts himself out to be. That one thing that really annoyed John Kerry was that he was telling some campaign staffer like, oh, John told me this story and he told me that he never told anybody else this story about that before Wade died, he gave Wade like whatever, some fucking book. And the campaign staffer was like, oh, John told me that exact same story. And he also told me that he had never told anybody that before. And I was like, ooh, I don't like that.
Yeah, so he's mining for like a
relationship or like a bond.
A bond
in a fake kind of way. Ooh.
Right.
That's sketchy.
Yeah, he's gross. Well, that was this week's episode, y'all.
Thanks for tuning in. Hit us up on Instagram and Twitter at Drama Club Pod and on the website dramaclubpod.com.
On the hotline, 505-390-5556, at our P.O. Box number 27433, LACA 90027. Leave us a tip if you enjoy the work that we're doing here. You can give us $1, $2 if you want. That's not a campaign finance law violation.
We're not running for shit.
And we'll talk to you on Monday with our Afternoon Delight episode.
Bye.
However, whatever with your however.